How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's Cheesy here, and second Sunday breakdown of the day. Hope you all are doing well, and we're going to be going over the Turkish Grand Prix, Formula 1 DHL Turkish Grand Prix 2020. We're going to be going over FP1, FP2, and FP3, along with qualifying and the race results. I have some notes that I was taking, and we'll be on our merry way. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like. It helps out. It's much appreciated, and hope you guys enjoy. Let's cue the intro. Alrighty, everyone. So we're in inner city Istanbul Park, in Istanbul. So for the Turkish Grand Prix, and it seems to be a fun one. I do have to say, qualifying was very wet, extremely wet, like after a rainstorm, or it was a rainstorm. If you get a bad mark, it's like the floor crying so much. I don't know. It was wet. It was a wet qualifying. It was pretty interesting though. We do love that. But FP1 was crazy too. It was a wet weekend. That's the bottom line. It was a wet weekend, and it was pretty crazy. We have the two Red Bulls go 1-2 in FP1. You don't see that. Albon behind Verstappen, but you don't see that very often. We see Charles Leclerc in third place, Gasly in fourth, Vettel in fifth, Kvyat in sixth, Norris 7th, Gio, crazy man, 8th, Bottas 9th, and Ocon 10th. Notice how I did not say Hamilton within that top 10. Hamilton was 15th place, pretty crazy. But then you see Gio making it up into 8th place, the 99 car. In 8th place, you see Pierre Gasly in 4th. So Pierre really showing that he likes that 4th spot, showing his pace. Charles 3rd, but I'm not going to say much about this practice qualifying or practice session because it was just crazy and utter chaos, like chaotic. Latifi 11th, Perez 12th, Stroll 13th, Grosjean 14th, Hamilton 15th, Kimi 16th, Kevin Magnusson 17th, Danny Rick 18th, Carlos Sainz 19th, and George Russell 20th. So this was not a good showing of the pace. New track, new weather conditions. It was definitely not a good showing. It was pretty crazy stuff, and I think that we can't judge it off, and that's why we go through all practice sessions. Last weekend there was not 3 practice sessions, only 1, but we were fortunate enough to have 3, so you get a little bit more consistency and being able to check out as you move through the day. So practice 2 FP2 later in the afternoon on Friday. Similar weather conditions, but Max Verstappen still going first. Charles Leclerc follows closely behind with only 4/10 in between them. Bottas in 3rd, Hamilton in 4th, and Albon in 5th. So some usuals in the front, out with the exception of Charles and Albon. Pretty interesting to see them up that fast, and Hamilton lagging a little bit behind as he needs this first place to win his 7th championship title. So pretty happy about that. But it is crazy stuff, the fact that Hamilton is going to possibly do this. But moving down now, you have Kvyat and Gasly 6-7, both or all 3 AlphaTauri members 5, 6, 7. Pretty crazy. They're tightly packed within, I would say, 0.6 of a second. So pretty close. But then you have Seb behind them, and Stroll and Norris. So they're all tightly knit. The people who you would think, Sebastian Vettel, a little bit surprising. Both Ferraris, a little bit surprising during this time. But they just have the wet racecraft that the other people don't. And that's a generalization. Checo in 11th, Ocon 12th, Giovinazzi 13th, Sainz 14th, Ricky 15th, Kimi 16th, Russell 17th, Grosjean 18th, Kevin Magnusson 19th, and Nicholas Latifi 20th. So both Haas's, both of the Ferrari-powered Haas's in the back, and you see 4 out of the 6 Ferraris in the back out of the top 10, and then you see those 2 pretty fast, pretty interesting stuff there. Surprising, yes. Do we like it though? Definitely. I think that it's a nice change of pace for us. Literally, they're going faster, so change of pace. But it's interesting stuff, and I think that this is something that will build off itself for the next couple races. Believe we have 3 more races before Abu Dhabi, or 2 more races before Abu Dhabi. So that should be pretty interesting, and I look forward to it. So Saturday afternoon, I would say it was afternoon time, I believe. That is the 14th. So you have Max Verstappen going fastest. So Max has been leading the pack all weekend, and we'll hope to do so, because if Hamilton does not go fastest, does not go first, he will not get his championship title. But he did not. 3 out of 4 Williams, 3 out of the 4 Mercedes, did not put in a lap. Did not put in a full lap. I believe there was issues with the Williams, and Hamilton just said, "I'm good." No, I doubt he said that, but I believe there was an issue. But Charles Leclerc in second, Alexander Albon third. So those 3 guys showing what they have during this time. Crazy weather conditions, but nevertheless showing that they can do it during this time. Ocon fourth, Norris, Lando, the milkman himself in the 5th place, Sebastian Vettel showing his pace in 6th, Checo 7th, Valtteri Bottas falling behind in 8th, K-Mag 9th, and Stoll 10th. When I was looking at this, I was like, how is that possible? How does he put up, I believe it is 155.8, 10 seconds slower than Max Verstappen, and he's still in the top 10. That's just crazy. 7 seconds, but still, that's just crazy. That should not be happening even on wet conditions, but it did. Boy, Daniel Rick fell outside of the top 10 in 11th place. Sainz in 12th, Gio 13th, Gasly 14th, Grosjean 15th, Kimi 16th, Kvyat 17th. So very spread out. Shows you how hard it is to manage the car in these wet conditions, and it was just crazy stuff. But there was a surprise, and it was very spread out for the qualifying. You have people qualifying in crazy spots. So let's go through it. You have Nicholas Latifi in 20th, Grosjean in 19th, George Russell 18th, Kvyat 17th, and Kevin Magnusson 16th. So a little bit of surprise from both Daniel Kvyat, George Russell. They've been qualifying pretty good, at least enough to make it out of Q1, and they didn't this time. Sad to see George Russell out. Not a great spot for him to be in, but he tries his best, and we can only hope for the best on Sunday. And usually the announcers, Sky Sports F1 calls him the Saturday man, so saying that he shows up to qualifying, and that just, you have your good days, you have your bad days. He has had more good days than he has had bad days, but this was just one of them, and hopefully this weekend he'll be on top of it. But we have Q2 now. You have Pierre Gasly moving into Q2 just barely, and putting in his time with a 158.55, making him 15th place for the race. Charles Leclerc 14th in his Ferrari, so falling a little bit behind in these dry conditions, maybe just not acclimating enough, but nevertheless you go on. Sebastian Vettel again falling behind in 12th, and Lando Norris in 11th. I believe I said Carlos Sainz in 13th, but if I didn't, he was in 13th. So both McLarens and Ferraris outside of the top 10. But then you have 2 Ferraris inside the top 10. Kimi and Gio. Gio in 10th, setting a 157.226. So breaking that 2-minute mark. Pretty crazy, pretty cool stuff we like to see it hadn't been in Q1 or in P1. Yeah, Q1 it was just floating around 2 minutes. But then you have Valtteri Bottas in ninth, so not doing too well. And then Kimi ahead of him in eighth. We love to see it. We really do. The Iceman himself in his Alfa Romeo, going to stay there for the foreseeable future. Showing his pace, showing that he still deserves a spot in F1. That's something that you always have to consistently do in this sport, unlike any other. But you have Ocon in seventh, Hamilton in sixth, Danny Rick in fifth, Alexander Albon in fourth, and I'll go into the top three in a second. But let's talk about Hamilton falling behind. Danny Rick getting his second, fifth place this season, I believe. And then you have Ocon behind Hamilton, not doing great. Ricardo doing pretty good, pretty solid. And then you got the top. And then Albon, apologies. Albon in fourth, doing pretty good as well. Keeping close to his teammates and showing that he has a spot. It's very controversial. Last episode on the Sunday Breakdown, I said that he shouldn't be there. But I don't know. We'll have to see. It's crazy stuff. Pierre Gasly in 15th, so didn't make it out of Q2 and actually just got bumped to the bottom. But it's kind of crazy that what the fluctuation in this sport and that you need to prove yourself. And that's a decision that we'll have to wait to see until maybe late this year, early next year, on who moves up from AlphaTauri. The three AlphaTauri members, if you're new, I say Albon, Kvyat, and Gasly are the three AlphaTauri members because they're all just spread it out and they all have consistently bad places. Like they're in the back, I would say, a lot of the time. It doesn't mean that they're bad drivers, it just means that they haven't found their racecraft yet. They're all young and have time to develop, I think. Checo in third, Verstappen second, and Stroll in first pole. Let's say that. 147.777. That's quick. That's like 13 seconds off the fastest of Q1. Pretty fast time. First pole position, happy for him. Verstappen going second, that's okay. And Checo going third. So the Racing Points competing, definitely. It's pretty crazy how they do compete and are able to compete. But that it doesn't always look good. I'm gonna say Checo did pretty good in the race, but then you have people. Then you have the Racing Point Lance Stroll who falls back a little bit. So it wasn't tremendous effort, but it wasn't also horrible. So you see a lot of fluctuation in the race. Bottas had his worst quali since 2017, and it was a wet start for everybody. And there was some sandwiching racing incidents in the beginning. You had early on, Gio had to retire from the race, and I would say it was Tokyo Drift out there. It was pretty slick, not a lot of traction. It was a wet race, and there was you didn't know what you were doing out there. It was kind of like a free for all, and you couldn't find traction. It was a constant debate on whether to go onto the inters or even dry tires, slicks, and as it cleared up, you did, but it was just crazy. I think that it's interesting to see that strategy. I've talked about that before, that you like to see that strategy, but it's interesting stuff. So talking about the final race results in a second, Hamilton did get his 7th World Championship, so cheers to him, and we wish him the best. And we did have Ford did not finish, so pretty crazy stuff. As I said, Gio retired on lap 11, Latifi on 39, Grosjean 49, and K-Mag on 55. So no Haas points and shortage of William points there as well. And Gio could have done some damage. Sadly, he didn't, but it was there. It was possible. Valtteri Bottas fell behind. I'm gonna go up though. Kevin Magnusson no, George Russell was the last finisher in 16th place. Kimi 15th, Valtteri Bottas 14th. So worst finish and worst qualifying in a long time. Pierre Gasly in 13th, Kvyat 12th, Ocon 11th, and Danny Rick 10th. So Danny Rick getting that 1 point, contending for the mid-range titles. So like he's, I would say, around 5 in the Constructors' Championship. I'll check in a second. But let's talk about Pierre Gasly moved up just a little bit, I believe, and Kvyat moved up just a little bit. So not too much going on. Stroll falling back behind into 9th, Lando Norris in 8th, Albon in 7th, Max Verstappen in 6th. So all those guys lost places. Carlos Sainz moved up, Charles Leclerc moved up, Sebastian Vettel moved up, and Checo moved up, and Hamilton moved up. So we see Sebastian Vettel get his podium, and Charles Leclerc right behind him. Very disappointed, only 2 seconds, and was very disappointed with himself on that result. He really wanted that podium, and it was a fight till the end once they got that dry tires. But you see Sebastian Vettel get his podium. We love to see it. Charles Leclerc was not happy about his own performance, but I think he was enthused about his teammates' performance. Checo on the podium once again, I believe for the second time this year, so doing well. And Hamilton getting that Drivers' Championship title, and we're happy for him. I think that's pretty good. And if we go to the drivers, the 2020 driver standings, Hamilton has it in a bag, and he's currently, what is that, 200 points above, no, 110 above Bottas. And then you have Max Verstappen only 27 behind Bottas as well. So that's pretty interesting. But then you have these mid-range fights. You have Checo with 100, and then you have Danny Rick with 96. So pretty close in that regard, and we want to see how that pans out. And then you have Pierre Gasly contending with Albon and Norris and Sainz in the 70-60 point range. So there's some contention, obviously, of George Russell and Nicholas Latifi. A close battle between them with 0 points, seeing who can get that first. I'm joking, but you do have some competition, and it's interesting, and that's what makes the sport interesting, the points aspect of it. Obviously, the GBRs, Great Britain people, the racing Brits, flying Brits. What is it on the trading cards that says like Amazing Brits or something? They seem to be doing well, but it's pretty interesting to see these driver standings. But as it is, that is the standings, and that was the race. Pretty fun stuff. I'm looking forward to this weekend, seeing some more action. Obviously, as it isn't as great for the viewer when it doesn't go down to Abu Dhabi, or even Bahrain. But I think that it was a good year, and even though we didn't get the championship fight that we wanted, we still have to appreciate that we got racing, and I think that's what's most important. So that was the weekend, and if you guys did enjoy, be sure, I would appreciate it if you guys dropped a like. But hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time, peace.